Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. This is the absolutely hulking Maxace Blacklight. Actually, I believe the box calls it the Maxace Blacklight 01. Yeah, right there. So this is an interesting knife. Before we get started, there's just a funny detail on their website. I can't tell if it's Maxace just being funny or if it's actually a term. See in the description of this knife, you can still go find it. I'll have this linked down in the description. It says the blade is, quote, polished and pickled. Pickled? What does that mean? I don't know, but it's there. So, okay, this is a pickled blade. Thank you very much, Maxace. Thanks to Maxace for sending this in for me to take a look at. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Like I said, links for this guy in the description. It is not a cheap knife. Let's go ahead and do a measurement here. Overall length of the Blacklight coming in at 9.75 inches. This knife is huge. We have at least a 4 inch. I'm going to go ahead and call that close to 4 1/4 because the cutting edge is like 3.95 inches. This is gigantic. Let's do some size comparisons. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others. So this is the 8010. This is a big knife. This is a huge knife. And then up against, of course, my own Excalibur. Obviously, gigantic. Let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and the Hogue Deca. Obviously, still huge. And then finally, up against, we did these backwards, up against the PM2 and the Para 3. Okay. So how's the action on this guy? Well, it's huge. So, I mean, it's a little awkward. If you've never handled one of these massive, like, overbuilt knives from Maxace, it is a little awkward. But fortunately, their doorknob thumb studs are pretty comfortable. This front flipper can come around and kind of bump you. It doesn't really seem to want to pinch, but it can bump you. So just be aware of that. Does it work as a front flipper? Yeah, it's huge. So it's not, I'm not going to say it's the most confident front flip, but it does work. Access to the lock bar is good, and obviously the action is false shut, mostly due to the fact that the blade is gigantic and very heavy. The detent is tuned properly, and truth be told, I can reverse flick it. So for a huge, hulking, ridiculous knife, which is what this is, we should not. None of you should be watching this thinking this guy is reviewing this as a serious object. This is supposed to be collective, like we all collectively understand that this is a silly object, and we're still looking at it because it's fun. But if you're new and you don't know, no, designs like this are not really granting you any utilitarian benefit. But there are companies out there like Maxace who produce knives like this with extremely premium materials with incredibly premium tolerances, and also make them functional. But they make them intentionally overbuilt and cumbersome because that's just sort of the humor of this end of the industry. They're being intentionally ironic, right? But anyways, yeah, if you want to buy this and carry and use it, knock yourself out. You might literally. But anyways, yeah. So what were we doing there? The action, yeah, it's pretty good. Access to lock bar for a ridiculously huge overbuilt knife. Carry profile, thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. This thing is enormous and not comfortable to carry at all. Let's put it up against, I'm sorry, we don't need to put it, let's do length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. Yeah, it's huge. Now, again, just because I'm saying like these are very cumbersome and like Maxace is having fun, but Maxace does take their construction very seriously. I know this because I broke I broke a very substantial liner lock out of the Vortex S one time using the knife in an abusive way. And they immediately changed the way that the curvature on the relief cut was. Somebody else had pointed out, hey, this shouldn't be a 90-degree angle. I didn't know that. But that was apparently what caused the issue, and they had immediately changed that. So they do definitely care about the durability of their knives, even though they probably also don't recommend that people use them in abusive ways. But yeah, these are definitely meant to be more durable than your average pocket knife. Probably not meant to be batoned with, though. But anyways, Carry profile, it's huge. It's massive. It's cumbersome. Let's weigh it. What are we looking at for materials? Well, we're looking at an absolutely massive hunk of M390 and then a crap load of titanium. This knife also comes with additional inlays. I believe these are brass, like this would replace underneath this, this frame underneath here, right? It also comes with like more hardware than you could possibly imagine. Everything. Lock bar insert. It comes with the extra pin. This obviously has an extra stop pin hole, right? Black hardware, silver hardware. I mean, it comes with everything. It's crazy. Maxace is really good about that. So we have the copper, titanium, PVD coated titanium, more titanium back here, titanium, huge blade. What could this weigh? Well, it weighs, it has to weigh well over 10. Yeah, 12.1 ounces. Well, it ain't heavy to me. Okay. You know, there's always one person who has to let us know that they're very strong, that their pockets are very strong. That's great. For everybody else, this is going to feel like a ridiculous object to carry. It's huge. It'll take up a lot of room in your pocket. And I carried it for a bit. It's not comfortable at all. Let's go ahead and do, as much as I love this, like, I just want to make it clear. I love overbuilt knives. We gotta talk about this so that people don't get confused. Let's go into a hardware check. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use in this channel. What are you? Are you a T? Why does this seem to be getting less legible? Yeah, it is a T8. Okay. So we have T8 pivot. We have a T8, whatever this is. That's the piece that is meant to hold. I mean, it's just the, I don't think you need to have it there. It's just some sort of weird filler tab for the area where the extra stop pin goes in. And we have a T8 here and a T8 here. We've got T8 here, got a T8 here. And then we have these probably just unscrew manually. We have a T8 over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws on each side, plus the pivot. A lot of screws, totally, I mean, legitimately still simple to take apart. Just way too many screws, but that's what Maxace does. They do it on purpose. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's measure the blade stock thickness, and then we can get into, what should be a pretty short meat and potatoes, minus one thing that I would like to try and, it's almost like asking the question. 190,000. So not, it's very thick, but not as thick as Maxace has created before, right? So, okay, it is huge. How comfortable is it? Well, it's comfortable in the sense that, like, holding a big, crazy, thick titanium object gives you that sense of empowerment. It's not actually comfortable. It just makes you go, oh yeah, this is a serious tool, even though we know that it isn't. It can cut, it's probably more durable in terms of lockout strength when you have that pin in there than your average pocket knife, but you're essentially over encumbering yourself for 99.999% of your playthrough just for that 0.0001% chance that you might need specifically an overbuilt object. Sorry, there's a stampede of water buffalo directly above my head. Yeah, just for that tiny little chance that you might need very specifically an overbuilt folding knife in some incredibly isolated scenario, right? So basically, there's no reason to force this into a roll. Just admit that you like it because it's cool, and then if you want to carry it, carry it. I mean, once I admitted that to myself, I was like, oh, geez, I don't need a reason for any of this stuff. I can just have it because I like it. And that's what you should do, right? We don't need to play pretend. It's just fun. And Maxace knows that, and they're also having fun, so you might as well embrace it. The cutting geometry is expected, as you would assume, it's ridiculously thick. Now, it will still slice, but it's not going to be a good blade for processing material over a long period of time. It's actually got a really nice, sharp factory cutting edge, so slicing something like paper is pretty easy. But if you're going to break down cardboard boxes for 30 minutes, it's going to be a workout, because you're pushing incredibly thick blade geometry and 190 thousandths of blade material through the box. So the thicker the material, the worse time you're going to have. There is one thing that it says on their website, and again, I can't tell if they're joking or if it's an actual term. It says that this has a nano coating on it. Perhaps they mean, because there's listings that involve the standard version and the super upgraded version, which actually does have Chad Nichols Damascus. I don't know what the two compositions are, probably two premium compositions. And then it also lists as having like Zerkatai or Timascus, right? So it's much more expensive. They combine that in the listing, like either or. So when they say nanotech or nano coating, I don't know if that means like it's on this version or it's on the Chad Nichols version or it's on both. I don't know what it is. And I also don't know if they're being serious because they said that the blade was pickled. I have no idea. I will ask Maxace about this, but as far as this review goes, I don't know. Why didn't I find out before I recorded it? My question to you is, does it really matter? Like on something like this, I don't know. I don't think that it does. Perhaps you're right. Maybe I should have looked it up beforehand. But considering we're looking at a knife that wasn't really meant to be serious from the start, I have to question whether or not the nature of that is trivial or even serious to begin with. But I think it's funny, and even if it is a real thing, I think it's even funnier that they would add it to a blade like this if it does add some sort of benefit to the blade. Maybe Maxace can offer clarification to both the pickling and the nano coating down in the comments section. I think that would be a fun discussion. But anyways, the blade does look really nice. I mean, the whole knife is, we have like this ventilation. Honestly, it looks like a knife that could overheat for some reason. Like this is supposed to be, like ventilation for some sort of core, right? Internally, that there's something in here that's going to cause potentially the knife to overheat. So this is how it vents itself. Massive, massive thing. I feel like I would do more blunt force damage with this than any damage I could do with the edge itself. Once you engage that stop pin, right, which is actually, I'll go ahead and showcase that, the secondary pin. We do have to remember that when a frame lock is involved with this system, there is still contact with the frame lock. This is not now taking 100% of the force. This is mitigating the force. How do I know this? Because when I move the frame lock out of the way, it moves a little bit. When I engage the frame lock, it doesn't. So this does not mean that your knife is now indestructible. It just means the lock is going to be more reliable than the standard frame lock. What would you specifically need that for before you would move to a fixed blade? Essentially nothing. I mean, the circumstances, the specific circumstances that exist in that sliver of in-between, I can't comprehend what they are, right? But it technically does make it a little bit stronger. You are still adding, if you're going to do spine impact, again, I have a little bit of experience. I broke one, right? So what takes that force? Even though it's mitigated, what takes it if you're impacting the spine? Well, it comes right down here to the relief cut, which they have 3, and they are not perfect 90-degree angles, right? They're kind of curved. That's apparently how you're supposed to do that. Just don't engage this pin thinking that it's indestructible. I do like this, though. This is a nice, right? This makes it a little easier to twist on. It also makes it easier to get back out if you over-tighten it, right? It is an object that you can lose. So I don't know. It's one extra thing. I think it's neat that they give you an extra lock bar insert. Like, geez, like what do they think people are going to do with these things? They're going to need another lock bar insert. But hey, if you need your knife to last 200 years, well, there you go. Jimping, it's barely functional, right? Not a lot. Your backspacer is really cool, like the designiness. It's very, it's you're either gonna love it or you hate it. It's Maxace. I don't know that they really care if they're like appealing to the majority. They know that they're not. They're making what they want to make, and they're making crazy stuff. Like a lot of their stuff. They're able to make practical, like basic, safe designs aesthetically. They choose oftentimes to make ridiculous stuff because that's who they are, and I appreciate that because we have too much boring, straightforward utilitarian stuff. It's too easy to find a basic utilitarian cutting tool. The fact that Maxace exists, right, is, almost out of necessity, because otherwise we would be bored to death. So thank you, Maxace, for saving us from death by boredom. Let's see, anything else? In and out of the pocket is a chore. because this rests right on top of that peak there. So I can get it, but it is pinchy. A little bit. Not bad, but it does get it. Steel lock bar insert. It's all on the inside. Is there any blade plate? No, not at all. No lock stick, no pivot lash. Smooth and consistent in here. Nice detent for, impressive for how big it is. And it is perfectly centered with no detent lash. This knife costs $468. Do I recommend it? No. But if you are a fan of Maxace, if you're a fan of premium, ridiculous, overbuilt knives with insane tolerances that can technically be carried and used and are technically more durable than your average folding knife, you will love this. Very specifically, you. Everybody else, no. But it is a fun object. I'm really glad they sent it to me. This is the type of stuff that I love showing off with no context on short form social media, like on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. I love showing these things off with no context just to get the reaction from people who don't know. They don't really know anything about pocket knives, right? But it's just fun because we don't typically see stuff like this. So... but it is cool. It's more of Maxace being Maxace, and I hope that they don't change. I hope that they keep making stuff like this. That's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. If you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.